Now, what is this so-called Little Giants program, and what is Beijing hoping to achieve with it?
This is a program that has been around for a while, but it's taken on new importance as we've seen this crackdown on the biggest companies in China, like Alibaba and Tencent, as you mentioned. Um, in recent years, China has been giving special emphasis to these little giants. They've designated thousands of these companies as they invest in strategically important areas like semiconductors, like artificial intelligence, and robotics, where they've been investing this money, and the company has designated these companies as important strategically to the future economic development, particularly in the technology space. And so as Beijing has cracked down on some of these other technology companies, these little giants have been considered safer. They've drawn a bunch of venture capital investment, and now they're growing quite quickly, and they're beginning to go public.
So, Peter, should the U.S. and other rival nations be worried, bearing in mind that the likes of Alibaba in their earlier days did benefit from the same kind of support from the government?
It's a good question. It's important to keep in mind how different the Chinese economy works than the U.S. government. Really, in the U.S., you see private enterprise driving the technology industry. Companies like Apple and Microsoft and Facebook have sort of grown up on their own. In China, especially in the past year, you've seen a much more active government hand in guiding where resources go, financial resources and also human resources. And now you're seeing Beijing direct the money and really the attention to these harder core technologies that they think are strategically important to them. And it is worth pointing out that they're doing this just as Joe Biden is struggling to get enough money to invest in the semiconductor industry, which he has said is strategically important, but it just works in a very, very different way in China.
It really does, doesn't it? So you see, how does this all fit in? And is it part and parcel of China's year-long campaign to rein in the likes of Alibaba, JD Sports, and Tencent?
It is. As Beijing has cracked down on these biggest companies like Alibaba and Tencent, Meituan, the food delivery company, and then Didi, the ride-hailing company, they've been kind of pulled in. They've been forced to change some of their business practices. And in response to that, venture capitalists and entrepreneurs are putting their energies into other areas that are considered safer for Beijing and also more supported by the central government. Those areas are going to be strategically important to these long-term plans that the government has laid out. And it's important to note also that the Little Giants program is one of a half a dozen programs that the government is advocating as they try to build these areas that they consider important to the future of the country.